Hello and welcome to Nikolai's Genetics Lessons, and today is going to be second video when I'm working with the same pedigree. I recommend you to watch my previous video first, and today I'm working with the same pedigree, but today we would discuss different crosses. So here's the problem. The trait in the pedigree below is inherited as simple recessive. It is very rare in the general population, so assume that anyone who marries into the family is homozygous for the normal allele unless there is an evidence to the contrary. What is the probability of the trait appearing in the offspring if the following individuals should marry? And the first question, 3,6 cross to 3,13. So how many generations we have here? This is first generation. Their children is second generation. Then this is third generation, and this is fourth generation. So first, second, third, and fourth. In order to designate generation, in genetics we use Roman symbols. So 3,6, and this is going to be this is 5, this is 6 person. So we have to find probability if this person would marry 3,13. So this is 10, 11, 12, 13. So this person. So if they would marry, what is the probability that they would have affected child? Because as you see, in both families they have affected relatives. So if any of these people would be homozygous normal, such person wouldn't be able to transfer recessive allele to the progeny. So in order to find probability for these two people have affected children, we have to find probability for them to be carriers. So the phenotype, as you see, is normal, but we have to find probability for one of the alleles, recessive alleles, to be defective. If we analyze genotypes of this person here, we can see that this person in second generation 5 have to be homozygous recessive. Homozygous recessive. And we are told that this is rare genetic disorder, so all outcrosses, all people who not part genetically part of the family, so these two people are not relative, so we put capital A here. So we have to assume that this person is homozygous dominant. And as you see, we even don't need a Punnett square. We can tell that 100% of the progeny of this couple would be heterozygous. So all children, and you see 3 children here, would be heterozygous, and this is 100%. So we put probability as 1 to be heterozygous, and 1 means 100%. So we sure that these 3 children, progeny of this couple, would be heterozygous for this trait. And as for the 3,6, let's analyze what is the probable phenotypes and genotypes. We see that both parents are phenotypically normal, but one of the siblings, the brother of this female, is affected. That means that both these people, their parents, have to be heterozygous, so have to be capital A and small a. Capital A and small a. Those in a problem, we are told that we have to assume that all outcrosses have to be homozygous normal, but unless there is evidence. So unless there is evidence of the contrary, and we see that this family have affected child, that means that this person, those phenotypically normal, but have to have a recessive allele, so each parent gave a recessive allele to this person, so genotype of this person is small a, so those phenotype is normal, each parent have to be a carrier. So what is the probability that this person also would be a carrier? And let me move my slide a little bit. We would use a Punnett square to find the probability. So we know that one parent is heterozygous, another parent is also heterozygous, and when we build a Punnett square, we can find probability for the phenotypically normal child also to be heterozygous or a carrier. So capital A here, capital A, small a here, capital A, small a here, and small a here. We know that the child belongs to this group of phenotypically normal. If the child would belong to this group, so we would know phenotype would be different, just like her brother affected. But we know that her phenotype is not affected, so she belongs to this group. And probability for her to be carrier would be 2 out of 3, not 2 out of 4, because we know that this genotype is different and phenotype is different. So 2 out of 3. And this is probability for this person to be carrier, 2 out of 3. So let's now return to our problem. So now we have probabilities for person 3-6, and probability is 2/3, and probability that second person in a mate would be heterozygous is 100%. We know it, so we put 1. And if this couple would have a child, probability that 2 heterozygous parents would have affected child would be 1/4. So 1 out of 4 would be probability if 2 heterozygous parents would have children. This would be probability that the child would be affected. So we have to add this probability also, 1/4. And because this is all independent probabilities, and we can connect them with the word and, for example, the question could be, what is the probability that the first parent would be a carrier, and second parent would be a carrier, and they would have affected child? So if we can connect different probabilities, independent probabilities, with the word and, then we have to use product rule. So we have to multiply these probabilities. Everything multiplied by 1 would be the same number, so we have to multiply 2/3 by 1/4. And as you see, the answer would be that probability for this couple to have affected child would be 2 out of 12, or 1/6. So now let's work on the problem B. We have to cross 4-1 and 4-2, and this is fourth generation, so we have to find probability for these two people if they would marry to have affected child. So this is going to be consanguineous mating, meaning when two people are relatives. So these two people are relatives and they have the same grandparents. So we put a double line here, and we can put the unborn child, and we use this sign to designate the unborn child. Sex is not specified. sex is not sex doesn't affect this probability to be affected or not. So what is the probability for this proband to be affected? So what we know about the family of this parent, and we know that here both parents are heterozygous, so probability for this parent to be phenotypically normal but to be a carrier would be 2 out of 3. So as you see, this parent phenotypically normal, just like 2 other siblings, and being phenotypically normal would have the same probability 2 out of 3 to be carrier. In order to solve question B, I would use different color, so probability for this person to be a carrier would be 2 out of 3. And probability for this person to be carrier would be 0, because this would be outcross. Genetically, this person would be different from all the people in the family, because this is outcross. So we have to assume that this person is homozygous dominant, so capital A genotype. So if one person is homozygous dominant, another is a carrier, what is the probability that they would also have child who is going to be a carrier? So let's build another Punnett square, and one parent is homozygous dominant, another is a carrier, and when we build a Punnett square, as you see, according to information we got, the probability would be 1/2. So as you see, 100% of the progeny would be phenotypically normal, but 50% of the progeny would be carriers. So this is 1/2. And now we can return to our problem, and probability for this person to be a carrier would be 1/2 if one parent is heterozygous, so heterozygous, another is homozygous dominant, so for him probability to be a carrier is 1/2. And we can put these numbers to find probability for the parent 1 to be a carrier, which is 2/3 multiplied by 1/2. And I put this into parentheses because this person not just have probability to be a carrier 1/2, his mother has probability 2/3 to be a carrier, and if she is a carrier, then he would have a chance, 1/2 chance also to be a carrier. So we have to multiply these two probabilities in order to find a final probability for this person to be a carrier. So this is probability for this person to be a carrier, which is 4/6. And now let's find probability for this person to be a carrier. Let's analyze his family, and we can start here. We know that this parent is homozygous recessive, this parent is homozygous dominant. So for this person to be a carrier, chances 100%. So we know 100%, just like in our previous example, all these children have to be heterozygous, and we know this for sure because one of the parents homozygous recessive, another is homozygous dominant, so 100% of the progeny of these three children would be heterozygous, and we know this 100% sure. So this parent, we have to assume that this parent have to be homozygous dominant. So I don't have much space left, so homozygous dominant genotype of this parent. And when we cross homozygous dominant parent with heterozygous parent, probability for them to have a carrier child that is going to be a carrier would be 1/2. So as you see, homozygous dominant parent, another parent is heterozygous, and probability for them also to have child who is carrier is 1/2. So let's put this probability on our pedigree. So 1/2 here, and we can also add to our calculations here. So 1/2. Once again, this is probability for 1 to be a carrier, and this is probability for 2 to be a carrier. And if they both would be carriers, once again, if two parents are both carriers, they would have 1/4 chances to have affected child. So we have to put this probability in our calculations, 1/4 to have affected child. And we have to multiply all these independent probabilities. So we have to multiply 2/3 by 1/2. This is going to be 2/6. We have to multiply by 1/2. This is going to be 2/12. And we have to multiply by 1/4. This is going to be 2/48. Or this is going to be 1/24. And this is going to be an answer to the second question. And this is all for today. Thank you for your attention. Please subscribe for my new videos that I post almost every day. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please write your comments, questions if you have any. And see you in the next video. Goodbye.